My sister Beth, 30 female, humiliated me at her baby shower by telling everyone that I was infertile. This was supposed to be a secret. We made a pact. The two of us decided to share something very private between us. She is my older sister, so I thought I would confide in her. I am just 3 years younger than her, so there isn't much age difference between the two of us. We got married within 2 years of each other and started to plan our family around the same time. I was pretty surprised to see her at the doctor's office because I had no idea that she had been having trouble conceiving. It was out of sheer luck that the two of us ended up at the same doctor at the same time. She was alone, but my husband was with me. We didn't talk much to the doctors, but we did have a conversation about coming home. She had told me that she and her husband, Connor, 31, male, had been having trouble getting pregnant. They weren't sure what was going wrong. So Beth had secretly decided to get herself tested to see if she had problems. Meanwhile, my husband, Mason, 29, male, and I had been having trouble for a while, so we jointly decided to see if we had any problems. I didn't ask for any details from Beth because I knew it was a sensitive issue. I later found out that I was infertile. It took the doctor some time to figure out what was wrong. The diagnosis was devastating for me. I had a hard time accepting this because I really wanted kids of my own. My husband has been really supportive and kept me from going insane. I never told anyone about my diagnosis because I was upset about it and it's not something I'm comfortable talking about. During this time, Beth got pregnant, so I assumed that everything was fine with them. And despite my own diagnosis, I was very happy with Beth's pregnancy. I'm not one of those crazy women who can't stand pregnant people because of their infertility. I was genuinely happy that Beth didn't have to go through what I did. Also, having a niece sounded really exciting. Everyone was happy, so I didn't bring up or talk about my own fertility struggles with anyone. It wasn't until the day before Beth's baby shower that I told someone about my diagnosis. I was at her house helping her make preparations when she suddenly started asking me about my own pregnancy plans. We had a rather emotional conversation, so I ended up telling her about my infertility and made her promise that she wouldn't tell anyone until I was ready. Beth must have acted on her hormones or gotten too emotional because she ended up telling me a secret of our own. What she told me was really shocking to me, and I didn't know what to think about it. She said that she went to the doctors without consulting with Connor and found out that she didn't have any problems at all. So she assumed that Connor was the one with problems. She was afraid that it would cause a rift in her marriage. So instead of trying to talk to Connor about it, she decided to sleep with someone else and get pregnant. The plan worked, which is how she got pregnant. Beth was crying as she told me this. She said that since Connor never got tested, there is still a chance that he is the father. She's choosing to believe that Connor is the real father of the baby. She hasn't told anyone about this and begged me to keep this a secret. Honestly speaking, she was a mess, and so was I. We ended up making a pact not to tell anyone about either of our problems. The next day, I tried my best to keep a straight face while attending Beth's baby shower. I was really uncomfortable with what I found out, especially since Connor looked so happy and excited. I was feeling a lot of conflicted feelings and emotions, but I didn't let it show. I was desperately praying that everything worked well for Beth and Connor. Since this is the first grandchild for my parents, they went all out in Beth's baby shower. I also contributed a significant amount of money so that Beth could have the baby shower of her dreams. Connor is loaded, but my parents and I wanted to be the ones paying for the baby shower. Everyone was super excited, and I found myself thinking that everything would be fine. Then Beth started to show off her pregnancy and made some really hurtful comments about having the first grandchild. To make things worse, she started to laugh and tell everyone that the pregnancy is going to be extra special because she is the only one who will be able to give my parents grandkids. She kept laughing and saying that I must be relieved to not feel the pressure of having grandkids because of my infertility. I can't tell you the exact words she used because I was already zoning out from shock. I could feel my throat closing up as well, and I remember my sister just laughing while most of the people in the room went silent. There were a few awkward laughs with Connor, literally saying, "Beth, why would you say that?" My sister should have taken the hint and shut up, but she kept laughing and told Connor that it was just for the jokes. And it was a funny thought. She even had the audacity to turn to me and say that I must have understood what she meant. It's at this point that I snapped. I said that I did understand that she was making a joke, just like she made a joke of her own marriage by getting pregnant with someone who isn't her husband. I remember just feeling rage boiling inside me as I told her that I may be infertile, but I am not desperate enough for a child, that I would cheat on my husband and sleep with someone else to get pregnant. I admit that I yelled out these things. Everyone heard what I said. My sister turned pale and couldn't make a reply. My husband just kept trying to get me to leave. Connor just kept asking me and Beth what I was talking about. I don't know what happened next because my husband got me out of there before I had a mental breakdown. I heard shouting as I left, but I was more focused on not bawling my eyes out in front of everyone. I did have a breakdown after coming home. I didn't check my phone until the next day because Mason took it away from me. He said that he was afraid I would spiral if I saw and read the texts that my sister and her friends sent me. He did say that he briefly had a conversation with Connor where he confirmed that I knew about the cheating a day before the baby shower. I told my husband everything, so I didn't hide it from him. Beth knew that I would end up telling my husband, and I was okay with her telling my husband about my infertility too. My husband doesn't like getting involved in my family matters, so she knew he wouldn't meddle or spill any secrets. Mason confirmed that I didn't just make up lies to ruin Beth's baby shower because she insulted me. The next day, when I got my phone back, I saw around 70 missed calls from Beth and her friends who had my number. Beth had also sent me a ton of texts telling me that her marriage is falling apart because of me, and it would be my fault if she becomes a single mother and her daughter loses her father. She sent me some more hurtful messages calling me jealous and bitter because she's having bio kids while I can't. I also got some messages from my parents telling me that I went too far and did some serious damage. They said that they were ashamed of me and that I immediately needed to apologize to my sister and talk to Connor or they would disown me. This is just a small part of all the messages I have received. I did get some support from the extended family who said that Beth had this coming and I did the right thing by exposing her. But my own family is verbally attacking me and threatening me. I don't know what to do now. I don't want to apologize to Beth. What I said was a reaction to her insults, and I think my reaction was justified. Not everyone sees it that way, though. My husband is completely on my side, but he is my husband, so he is biased. I would like to ask you guys if you think I'm an idiot. AITA? Edit. I see a lot of comments on my post. I'm sorry that I can't reply to all of you individually. You guys have been asking me why I hadn't told Connor about Beth's infidelity right away. I admit I didn't want to out my sister to her husband. By no means do I support cheating of any kind. What my sister told me was said in secret, and I didn't want to break that promise. I did tell my husband about it, and even he said that it would be better if I did not involve myself in Beth's drama. Call me names all you want, but I really didn't want to destroy her marriage myself. I did advise her to come clean to Connor because he didn't deserve to be kept in the dark about things. I was also really praying to God that the child turned out to be his. To be very honest, though, I hadn't really decided what to do. She literally told me about it a day before her baby shower. I think she may have regretted telling me, and maybe that's why she ended up insulting me at the baby shower as a weird power play tactic. At least that's what my husband thinks she tried to do. Since the cat's already out of the bag, I can't say for sure whether or not I would have exposed my sister to Connor. I won't lie to you guys just to look like a good person. I accept whatever judgment you make about me on that front. I already consider myself an idiot for not telling Connor sooner. All I'm asking is if it was right for me to expose her in front of everyone like that. In the end, it was I who exposed her and was about to ruin her marriage. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid in the first place. That's why I have been having all these mixed feelings about this situation. Some of you had questions about whether Beth is the golden child because my parents are siding with her over me. I don't know, to be honest. They do have a tendency to brush over her behavior, and they have always expected me to be a bigger person. Maybe they're just using those same tactics again. I haven't really sat down to think about this because I don't like the conclusions I come to. I guess it's time to maybe reflect on that as well. Update 1. Hi guys, it's been 2 days, so I think I have enough votes to see what people have to say about this. There were a lot of mixed comments, but the majority of you said that I was NTA because she was the one who broke our pacts about keeping secrets. Although many of you think that I should have handled this better because Connor became collateral for no reason. I can't stress enough how guilty I feel about this. Connor is the one who suffered the most. I agree that the public humiliation probably made things worse for him. I haven't had the courage to speak to Connor about this at all. He hasn't said anything either. My sister does keep saying that he is extremely mad at her and is rethinking their marriage. She also said that he isn't talking to her and is sleeping in a separate room. I have absolutely no sympathy for my sister anymore, but I do feel bad for Connor. A lot of you who called me an idiot here told me that I should be apologizing to Connor for publicly humiliating him. I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. I've also talked about this with my husband, and he agrees that I should give Connor an apology. So I plan to type out a heartfelt message from my end, apologizing for making things public like that and not approaching him in secret. I don't think he will forgive me, but I hope he doesn't hate me. As for my sister, I think our relationship may as well be over. I have been doing a lot of thinking over the past few days, and I have realized that she probably doesn't even like me that much. She always had a habit of being mean and rude to me, especially because she's older than me. I was always told to let go and ignore her because she's older and I should be more respectful. I learned to just ignore her rude and hurtful comments. But I now realize that the resentment had been building up for a while. It's strange how my parents always told me to look past my sister's behavior and be the better person. Even now, they're taking her side, not even acknowledging that she had done something wrong, too. That's really unfair. The more I think about it, the more I'm getting annoyed at it. I think I would ask my parents for a chat about this because I don't like how they've always neglected my feelings and my disrespect. I have never confronted them about this little favoritism they always showed Beth. My husband had noticed it as well, but never spoke up against my parents because I told him not to rock the boat. I see now that maybe I should have rocked the boat after all. My sister's already going to be out of my life now because there's no way I will be apologizing to her. If my parents continue to threaten me like this and are not willing to understand my side, then I will just let them disown me like they are threatening to. Beth is still texting me and telling me that I better apologize to her and do something to make things right, or she won't allow me near her kids. As much as I would like to be in my niece's life, I would rather keep my self respect. I let her walk all over me all these years. She hit a very sensitive spot and started this whole mess. Yes, I messed up too, but I would have never done it if she hadn't publicly humiliated me and made a fool out of me. Say what you will, but there's no coming back from this. If in the future my niece reaches out to me or my sister changes her mind, I will be happy to be in my niece's life, but I don't think my relationship with my sister will ever recover. Update 2. Hello again. Some of you asked for an update, so I have come back to make one. I don't know how to feel about the fact that some of you find this crap storm entertaining. However, since you guys have been so helpful towards me, I think I owe you a few updates at least. I gathered the courage to send Connor an apology for what I did at the party. I didn't want to apologize to Beth, but I definitely wanted to apologize to Connor. So I wrote a long text and sent it to Connor and asked for his forgiveness. Surprisingly, he gave me a call instead of just replying to my text. It looks like he doesn't have any bad feelings towards me. He said he understood why I didn't come clean to him right away and said that he would have been just as confused if it were his sister in this situation. He also said that he doesn't mind the public revelation because it spared him from telling everyone what happened. Honestly, this man just keeps surprising me. Now I feel even more guilty for not telling him sooner. He genuinely doesn't have any bad feelings towards me because he has imagined himself in my shoes and also understands that I didn't mean to humiliate him. Connor also shared his current situation and plans for Beth. The two of them are still fighting because Beth refuses to give him details of who the affair partner is. She's telling him that he can just forget what I said and accept that the child is his. By naming names, she didn't want to make it more real for him. Connor isn't having it with that logic. He has requested a prenatal paternity test, but is willing to wait until the baby is born. However, he has refused to pay for anything beyond her and the child. He told me that he hasn't decided what to do, hasn't told my sister that they will be getting a divorce, but he is strongly leaning towards it. My sister, of course, thinks that they can just move past this and work things out. She even tried to gaslight him by saying that she only cheated because of his fertility problems and wouldn't have done it if he were able to get her pregnant. Beth has to be exceptionally stupid to say that in his face. Even I wasn't stupid enough to bring up Connor's infertility in front of everyone. Connor has been devastated since he found out so many things at once. He's getting full support from his family, but has been having trouble dealing with Beth and my parents. My parents are on his case about just raising the child as his own and have been saying that a paternity test isn't needed because he has been the father throughout this pregnancy. Connor said that somehow these things are just adding salt to his wounds. He isn't open to raising an affair child just because he can't have kids. An affair child is not a consolation prize for his infertility. I really sympathize with him because I understand how that feels. Adopting someone unknown or even IVF and surrogacy are very different from raising an affair child. The child might be innocent, but she will be a constant reminder of Beth's betrayal. Also, things would get really complicated in the future when my niece grows up and demands answers. All in all, I don't think this will work, especially since Connor doesn't want to raise an affair child. Beth and my parents don't see it that way. The poor man is under a lot of pressure right now. I feel so bad for him. I really wish I could help, but I just can't. I think I'm just going to stay away and help Connor if he needs it. My sister has my parents and she doesn't like me anyway. Speaking of which, I blocked Beth and had a chat with my parents. I decided to go to their house and talk about things. There was this small ray of hope in my heart that maybe my parents would understand my perspective. Well, they didn't, and instead doubled down on me. They didn't address the favoritism at all, no matter how much I brought it up. They just kept demanding that I apologize to Beth and convince Connor not to divorce her. When I asked them about my feelings, they just said that it didn't matter. They made it clear that my sister takes priority here because she is the one giving them grandchildren. I guess I should have seen this coming. I am just not someone to value or care about anymore since I can't give them grandkids. The message has been clear as day. At that point, I just told them to go ahead and disown me because I won't be apologizing to Beth or making things right for her. I also told them that I don't need to have people in my life who don't care about me at all. My parents, of course, called me names and all, but I left pretty much after that. I had a good crying session at home while my husband comforted me. At least I'm lucky enough to have a good man as my life partner. He is going to be my only family right now, and I'm okay with it. My in-laws have also been informed about my fertility struggles because I didn't see a point in keeping this a secret anymore. It's ironic that they were more supportive than my parents ever were, so I think I'll be okay. I won't lie, but it sucks big time that my own family doesn't like me or cares about me, but I can't let it hold me back. Some of you who suffered from fertility problems like me gave me some good advice in the DMs. I appreciate all of it. My husband and I will have a deep discussion about this once this situation calms down a little. I still have some problems accepting my diagnosis, so it will take time for me to think about the next steps. Still, I would like to thank you for all your advice. Update 3. Hi guys, I'm sorry for not making an update sooner. A lot of things happened, and frankly speaking, I was having trouble coming to terms with this whole fiasco. I wasn't dealing with everything well, so I had to take a break. It may not seem that way, but my parents' true feelings about me absolutely destroyed me. For the longest time, I had suspected that my parents never really wanted me. Well, I found out later that it was true. My aunt, who's been extremely supportive of me throughout this mess, had talked to me about it. I had called her crying one night because I had a hard time accepting that my family wasn't going to be in my life. She assured me that no matter what, a lot of people in my family are on my side. They had been witnessing the blatant favoritism that my parents showed towards my sister. They had even tried to talk to my parents about it. The only reason they didn't pursue it too much was that I never complained and seemed to be doing well. Everyone knew why my parents and sister had always acted this way towards me. Basically, I was supposed to be a boy. I mean, my parents wanted a second child who would be a boy. They were so confident that they didn't even try to find my gender before birth, too afraid to check if I was actually a boy. They just kept buying boy stuff and thought manifesting a son would give them one. They even convinced my sister I was going to be a boy. Naturally, all of them were disappointed when I was born female. They were so disappointed they never tried having another child. Now, you and I both know why my parents and sister are this way. One will think that over the years they would grow to love their child, but that never happened. Anyway, all this information just made things worse for me. I was spiraling hard and couldn't focus on anything. My extended family and my husband really came through for me and helped me in this situation. My husband took control of my phone and blocked my sister, her friends who kept harassing me, and my parents. Since my sister was close to giving birth, the craziness didn't last for long. There was a short break in the middle. Beth kept refusing to take a paternity test until Connor threatened to divorce her and take her to court. So after my niece was born, Beth reluctantly agreed to one. Connor is not the father. He immediately consulted a lawyer and filed for divorce. My sister felt blindsided because she was fully convinced that Connor would come to love my niece and forgive her. I think my parents and her friends also kept selling her this idea, which is why she became so delusional. When Connor filed for divorce and made it clear that she can't move back into his house, my sister absolutely lost it. She went to my parents' place and stayed there while begging Connor to give her a second chance. My parents and her friends also kept harassing him until he threatened to sue them all for harassment. Currently, Connor and the divorce is in process. It's going to take a little while, but it will happen. While this was going on, my parents showed up at my house and demanded that I help raise Beth's child because I am responsible for their family breaking up. I didn't even have to make a reply because my husband absolutely tore into them and almost scared them. Mason can be a little cold and distant with others and doesn't have a habit of exploding on people. He really scared my parents that day. He also told them that we would call the cops on them if they dared to show up again. Next, I heard from my aunt that my parents are going around asking family members for money because Beth has no plans of getting a job. She has been living as a housewife for a while and apparently doesn't want to leave her child and go back to work. So she basically expects my parents to pay for everything. My parents are not rich, don't have unlimited income, so they are sort of scrambling for money. No one is willing to help them, and some have even cut them off because they didn't like how I was treated by them. So they didn't get help from anyone. They did send gifts for the baby, though. I had this urge to send something for my niece, but I wasn't sure if my sister would throw it away. My parents did reach out to me from an unknown number and asked for a little help because they were struggling. They also said that they were willing to hear my grievances again and maybe talk about things. I blocked that number without replying. They had over 20 years to change their behavior, but they didn't. They only want to mend things now because they are desperate for help. They can enjoy their prize. Beth is their problem now. It's sad that I can't be in my niece's life. I was truly looking forward to having a niece. But some things are not meant to be. I hope that someday, when my niece is older, she will understand my perspective and want to have a relationship with me. For now, it's unlikely that I would ever know her. In my last update, I was touched to see so many people worried about me and my mental health. You guys have DM'd me too because I took a while to make an update. I have gotten myself a therapist and I'm doing better now. Mason and I have also talked about IVF and surrogacy, among other things. We are talking about things with doctors and hopefully we will have a child too in the future. We may even adopt if God grants us the opportunity. We're keeping our options open. I'm staying positive for now and hoping that we will have a unique family of our own soon. This is the last update, so I will just end it here. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.